I'm going to go through a definition of gratitude, and we're going to look at some of the benefits and some of the gifts we receive when we practice gratitude. I'm going to look at how we might use the ABCs to share our gratitude. I've got some fun prompts that you might want to use, and I didn't give Kathy any of these handouts, but if there are things that you want, I'm happy to share. I just didn't want to overload your emails. I'm going to show you some tools for journaling gratitude, and then I have a wonderful resource list of all of the books that I think are worth looking at.
Barb, I did send your reference list on as you requested, as well as the description and the objectives. So everybody should have those. Let us know if you get them, but I sent those with both the meeting notice and the reminder.
Okay, good. So I'll talk about some of the books at the very end, but if a book is not on my list, then I didn't find it to be of benefit to my practice. Well, let's begin by resting our hands on our stomach or abdomen. And what I'm going to have you do is breathe in through your nose for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 2, and then we'll breathe out on a count of 4. So let's do this together. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold it, 1, 2, breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, go ahead and count yourself. Breathe in, hold it, and breathe out. Let's do it one more time. Breathe in and hold it and breathe out. So I'm going to have you just, if you feel comfortable, close your eyes, do your breathing, and I'm going to read a poem from a book that's called Gratitude Prayers. And it is a phenomenal book. It has lots of poetry, lots of things for reflection. But this one is called It Is the Gratitude Heart, and it's by Karen O'Leary. It is a grateful heart that sees the blessings in each new day. It is the peaceful heart that reviews the past without feeling guilty. It is the inspired heart that looks to the future with anticipation and with hope. It is the faith-filled heart that lights up the world by blending the three. And God, we thank you for giving each of us on this call today a grateful heart. Well, one of the things that I have people reflect on is, did you notice anything when you were doing your breathing? Did you see a change in your facial expression, or did you notice that you sat more relaxed in your chair? Were you aware of anything different when you were doing your relaxed breathing? Anyone?
Just a calming feeling. Sorry.
Yeah. And I felt more relaxed, and I felt more present in the moment.
Good. Good. And if we're doing a longer session, I'd probably have you breathe a little longer, but I want to have time for discussion at the end and kind of a closing. So some of the exercises that we'll be doing today are kind of abbreviated, just so you get an experience of it and you can decide what you want to take into your practice and into your church. Well, how might you use deep breathing for yourself, for your family or friends? I use deep breathing when I'm in the car and driving and people are driving me crazy. That could be in the back seat or in front of me in the car. I sometimes do my deep breathing at the grocery store because I have a tendency to go in the line that takes forever. But I also do deep breathing when I go into church for worship to calm my spirit and help me to be more present. And I use it with my grandkids when they're nervous about tests or they're concerned about something at school. And definitely I use it with my friends who are maybe going through a tough time. Well, Webster defines gratitude as a feeling of thankful appreciation for favors or benefits received. You see, if you focus on what you have, you will always end up having more. If you focus on what you lack, you will never have enough. By focusing on gratitude, this then directs you to a more abundant, more positive, and actually a more fulfilling life. When I was first studying gratitude in the mid-90s, I found a poem online, and I was going to be teaching a class for the Methodist Hospital volunteers. There were probably 200 to 300, and I found this poem, and I was aware of copyright, and I thought, I really shouldn't use this because I haven't gotten permission. So I found out the name of the author. It was a publisher, and the number they had me call went into the executive office. So the message was, this is the CEO of such and such a publishing. And I go, oh no. So I found out that it was a recording, thank goodness. And I said, you don't know me, but I found your poem online. And I'm teaching today to 300 volunteers at my hospital at Mayo Clinic in Rochester. And this really sounds like each of them, and I'd like to read the poetry. So I'm hoping that you'll say yes. And if you could let me know by which was a couple of days, that would be even nicer. Well, he did call back. He left a message for me, and he said, I would be honored to have you share this with your volunteers. So this is how the poem goes. When we are grateful, we see the best in everything. When we are grateful, we find peace within and around us. When we are grateful, we have wealth enough to give of ourselves. And that's what all the volunteers do. I've worked with some amazing men and women who have had busy professional lives, and now they're back at Mayo, sharing their caring and compassion with people who are going through a tough time. When we are grateful, we are contagious with contentment. And when we're grateful, the smallest treasures satisfy and the simplest joys delight. Something as wonderful as yesterday, I was driving home from Painesville. I went to a Methodist women's retreat at Lake Coronis. And in Rochester, all the Dairy Queens are closed. I don't know if any of you are into Dairy Queens, but we're in Delano. And don't you know, darn, the Dairy Queen was open. So my sister and I were able to have our last Dairy Queen before the season for her and me. And I said, this is a little treasure, but it sure is good. And it made me really experience joy. When we're grateful, we live our lives like the stars and the flowers, shining and blooming, because it is what we live to do. And really, for me, this is the volunteers I've worked with for some 40 years at Mayo. And I'm sure you have people at your church and where you worked who would be a reflection of this poetry also. Well, what are the benefits of gratitude? As I said, I started studying and learning about gratitude in the mid-90s when I was doing family support groups. And at that time, there was little evidence to assure you that if you did gratitude practice, it would make any difference in your life. There is a physician who is probably the biggest guru in the field of gratitude, and his name is Dr. Robert Emmons, and he's from UC Davis in California. And since my journey with gratitude, he has now been doing extensive research, as well as others, on the benefits of you and I cultivating gratitude as a virtue. Emmons notes that grateful people take better care of themselves and engage in more productive health benefits like regular exercise, a healthy diet, and regular physical exams. It does not say that you will lose weight, though. I just want you to know that. Grateful people tend to be more optimistic, a characteristic that researchers say boosts yours and my immune system. There have been many studies done, but two that I found of interest when I was first studying this is that patients confronting AIDS, as well as those preparing for surgery, had better health outcomes when they maintained an attitude of gratitude. And I did follow over 200 patients having transplants, and it was interesting to see those who, prior to surgery, would be grateful for the organ and the family that donated it. And then some of them actually had ceremonies where if they knew the donor, they would welcome the donor to their room. They would put their hands over the new kidney, and the donor would tell them something like, you now have a new home, and I want you to take care of them as well as you've taken care of me. It was a very touching ceremony. Sometimes we lit candles, and actually played music. Let's talk a little bit. Oh, okay, between the relationship. Whoops, let's go back. Go back.
Bless you, bless you.
There we go. So let's talk about the relationship between gratitude and happiness, because there is, as you can see on this slide, many aspects of our life that can be enhanced if we practice gratitude. If we look at the emotional realm, it can help us feel better, more relaxed, more resilient, less envious, and many people will have happier memories. Now, will you have every circle in the different fields? No, but you may notice one or two. Sometimes as you practice gratitude, you'll see they expand and increase. In the social realm, you'll be more social. You'll have a healthier marriage or a healthier relationship. That could be with a partner or family. You'll be kinder. You'll have more friendships. And for me, I think the bigger issue is deeper friendships and relationships. For those who have a career, it can improve your networking. You can be a better manager or management of your own practice. It helps you with goal achievement, improves your decision-making, and for many, improves their productivity. If we look at our health, which is an area that most people are interested in, it improves your sleep. For many, they're less sick. They have greater longevity of their life. It increases your energy, and generally you may exercise more. And if you're out exercising, that's a great time to notice things that you're grateful for. As far as your personality, people who are grateful are less materialistic, they're less self-centered, generally more optimistic, increased self-esteem, and the one that I see it often is you're more spiritual. So when you start looking at the benefits of gratitude and you look at these different spheres of our life, all of those then enhance what you may be more aware of, and that is your happiness. And many people say there is a relationship between happiness and joy also, although I didn't get into that in our time together today. If we look at some of the health benefits of gratitude, shoot. Did I do? Where's my little icon? There we go. Can you see that, Kathy?
Now we went back to your first
There we go.
slide.
I got it.
Okay, got it, okay. I
If
have
you
the
look at
white.
some of the health benefits of gratitude, improve quality of sleep. And I think a lot of people not only start their day with a reflection on gratitude, but they end their day. And I know a lot of patients, when I was working in transplant, were on steroids, which made it hard for them to sleep at night. And what they ended up doing after we talked about it is they would count their blessings. And we use the ABCs, which I'll show you and talk to you about later. But they use that time where they were wakeful, or if you're perimenopausal and you're awake at night, or your bladder wakes you up at night, whatever it might be, when you get back to bed, it's a nice time to think about things you're grateful for. It also can decrease your blood pressure. If you have hypertension, it can increase your energy level. It can reduce stress and depression, and it helps you live longer. On the other side, how do we show gratitude? In 5 easy steps, we can give out compliments. We can make a list of things you're grateful for. You can volunteer in your church and community, which many of you are, and you can do small random acts of kindness. And the simplest of all is just to smile. So, simply stated, gratitude can boost our immunity. It reduces your stress and it supports your immune function. It can increase your energy, and it helps you sleep better at night. It can inspire joy. It erases your worries, turning those frowns into smiles. Well, who can benefit from a gratitude practice? Anyone who has cancer could definitely benefit, whether they're getting chemo or radiation, proton beam therapy. Persons with chronic disease, whether that's diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, chronic pain issues. Persons with compromised immune function in their families. Persons preparing for surgery, people on dialysis, persons on palliative care or hospice, persons who are stressed, anxious, and depressed, persons who have lost a loved one and are grieving, and most of all of us to stay healthy. So just think about this a second. What if you woke up tomorrow with only what you were grateful for today? Think about that. What if you woke up tomorrow with only what you were grateful for today? So let's look at some of the gifts of gratitude. Gratitude is the mother of joy. If we focus each day on the good things that are happening to you, so looking at the good versus the negative, gratitude makes us young. Tapping into gratitude helps us not lose the happiness or juiciness of youth. Gratitude can help erase worry. You cannot be grateful and unhappy at the same time. Gratitude helps bring us back to the present moment. When I was in my transplant practice, many times if the nurses had a angry patient or family, they would page me and ask me to see them. And many times if it was the family, I would take them to a quiet space so they weren't showing their anger to the whole unit and kind of getting more revved up because they had an audience. And I'd let them go on and on and on about why they were angry. And many times it was related to they couldn't fix it themselves. But anyway, I'd let them go on. And then I'd say, well, let's just take a couple deep breaths here. And can you tell me 2 things you're grateful for? And they'd look at me like, Barb, you're really crazy. What's this have to do with my anger? But what would happen is they would take 2 to 3 deep breaths. They'd say 1 or 2 things that we're grateful for. And you could see their body just relax. For those who were standing yelling at me, they would sit down and we finally would have a conversation. So I found when people were worrying or angry, that gratitude could play a very positive role. One of the things I know is if you focus on your anger, hurt, and resentment and burdens, you then completely ignore what's good, beautiful, and touching in your life. Gratitude keeps us current. You can't be in the here and now and in the past. So sometimes when you're having a bad day and you're worrying about something in the future, you know, you're not going to be able to fix that. Come back to the present and start thinking about things you're grateful for. Gratitude connects us to our spirit. It is actually the quickest way to connect to your God or spirit, and that is for you to say thank you. Gratitude creates a sense of fullness, and from that sense, we are moved to give. It is really a beautiful cycle. The more you feel grateful, the stronger impulse you have for giving. Well, on this list are quite a few words, and I'd like you to look them over and find one prompt that really reflects something that you're grateful for. So under talent, maybe you have a beautiful voice, or maybe under health, you are good about walking every day, or maybe under favorite foods, you make the best apple pie in the world. So I'd like each of you to look that list over and then pick one of the prompts that reflects what you're grateful for. Okay, let's see. Nancy Dolan, would you start?
Sure. It's hard to pick just one.
Yeah, but for today it's one.
Yeah, I picked health. I'm thankful or grateful for my health. I have 7 siblings and they're all on high blood pressure medications and I am not yet. And I kind of had a little bit of a scare, but everything's okay. So I'm still not on blood pressure medicine. And I walk every day and I teach sail twice a week, which I'm just loving it. So I'm thankful for my health.
Congratulations. How about you, Nancy? There you go. Second, Nancy, there you are.
Yep, I just had to unmute. So I too am grateful that my body is allowing me to do the things that I would like it to do. And so I do walk and play pickleball and swim. And I too am a very grateful person and have been practicing gratitude for between 10 and 15 years. And so I'm also grateful that Barb is sharing this with us today. When I've taught my gratitude classes, they've been on the more science, some more of the Robert Emmons. So it's really lovely to hear some of the more spiritual aspects. So thank you, Barb.
Thanks, Nancy. Let's see who else. We'll do one more. How about for you, Lori? Is Lori there?
Well, she's muted.
How about you, Ruth?
Lori is here now. I will say for myself, I'm hung up on the friendships. The first word that I see here, I just came in from visiting a number of people at a care facility here in town and realize the friendships that I've created with parishioners over the years and how special they are. So with that, I am very grateful.
Thanks for sharing. How about you, Ruth? We'll finish up with you for right now. I'll get the rest of them next time. You're on mute.
Came off of mute. Okay.
There you go.
Nature. And I think it's because I do try to walk every day and I do practice gratitude. And I feel so close to God and nature and all the things that I'm observing. So for me, nature today. There's so many other ones too, though.
Yeah. So the one that most people never pick is what you love about yourself. So I would like you, when we're done today, is to reflect on what do you actually love about yourself? Well, in my practice in the hospital, I use the ABCs. And so what I would do is, whether working with people with cancer or the transplant population, a lot of times you can very easily focus on what you don't have and what's not going well. So I would give them the ABCs and I'd say, how many letters in the alphabet? And they'd say 26. And I'd say, so tonight, before you go to bed, or today when you have your family here, reflect on what you're grateful for with the letter A. So they might say something like one of their kids is named Andy. They like apples. They might talk about somebody who's a friend. And then I would say, send special thoughts of care to them. And then tomorrow do the letter B and then go through the alphabet. And if hopefully you're home in 26 days, and if you're not, you surely can do this over again. Well, the other thing I've been doing is I scrapbook for my granddaughter. Most of my other grandkids have moms who scrapbook, and Haley doesn't. So I've been scrapbooking for her since she was 2. And so every year I do the ABCs of what I love about her or what she loves. So one of her best friends is Elizabeth. So I put that on E. Right now she's into coffees. So I use this as a way to let my grandkids know what I'm grateful for about them. So, if you decide you want a copy of this handout, I'll send it to Kathy and you can use it either in your practice at church or you can use it with your family. Well, remember this, never let the things you want make you forget the things you have. Never let the things you want make you forget the things you have. By having an attitude of gratitude every day, it helps make us aware of the blessings that come our way. So just recently, I go online probably twice a week looking for new stuff on gratitude because I wanted to find some new things for you. And I want you to write down this author, carlagazer.com. You are absolutely going to love her website. She has some beautiful things. One I just found was, I bring those whom I love to you, and it is a poem by Ruth Bell Graham about bringing our grandkids and our kids to the Lord. And then she has a whole series that about clutter and how clutter gets in our way of our relationship with God. And I've been doing talks about clutter, and I have to tell you, I'm a failure right now. I don't know what's going on, but I have ironing up the kazoo, and I have quite a few talks, and I just get muddled down. So anyway, I found this Carla Gazer, and I shared this with staff at our church, and I put it in our newsletter, and it's 21-day gratitude challenge. She does the coolest thing. She does what to read in the Bible. Then she has you reflect on something, and then she gives you time to respond, usually not very long. And then she goes through the same thing, read, reflect, respond. So I would encourage you to go to her website, and, you know, if you can't get this one, let Kathy know and I'll be glad to share it with you. But it is wonderful, and our pastor was very excited to get it. And now I'm doing, I do my bathroom ministry in our women's room, and I'm doing it on gratitude. And this is one of the handouts I'm putting out in the women's bathroom. This is another website that you might want to look into. It's called Through the Greater Good Science Center, and they do an enormous amount of research on gratitude. And this is their calendar for November. And I like how some of them you can click on, and there'll be little questionnaires, projects for you to do, things for you to reflect on. But for Sunday, the 13th, protect your time and energy by saying no. And I'm really working on that because my plate some days just seems too full. And then you know what? When my plate's too full, I'm not as grateful. I don't know about you guys. So you might want to print this one too. And every month now, they automatically send me the link for the calendar for the month. It's a good resource. I send this out to a lot of my friends. Well, in some churches, in some senior centers, and some groups, coloring has become a big kind of phase or big craze. So there's a lot of coloring books out now for adults, and actually there's some on gratitude. And research is being done on what benefits are there for coloring for adults. Groups are now formed where you get together and you color with other adults. There's actually apps on your phone and iPad on coloring pages. I think, wouldn't it be nice for those of us who are around our grandkids I print out free coloring pages for my granddaughters. They love to color. And now my refrigerator is getting kind of full because they have to bring them up to Nanny and give them to me because they know I love it. So it's good for kids and grandkids. And what it can generate if we're coloring is a sense of wellness. When we're coloring, we're more quiet. We may be more mindful, which are some of the same benefits that people receive from meditation. I encourage people, if they like music, go on Pandora, put a CD in and listen to music you enjoy and think of things you're grateful for and color away. So this is one of the free pages I found online. It says, start each day with a grateful heart. You can do it with colored crayons. You can do it with colored pencils. Some people paint them. I have a couple friends at church who have been in my grief support group that have a notebook. of their coloring pages that they've completed, and they talk about the story that page had for them on their journey to wellness. Are any of your churches doing anything with coloring?
This is maybe not what you're thinking of, Barb, but we do a little, just a little square in our weekly bulletin. So, you know, kids can either, it's really geared for kids more, but it can be colored by anybody. So sometimes kids use it during the service, so they're kept a little busy, but we have a little square in most weeks' bulletin.
Nice idea, Nancy. Anyone else?
I was just shaking my head no that we didn't, but we have the little, can't think we call them the bags every Sunday for the little kids to take and color. But what I've been noticing is they've made a point of putting scriptural verses with coloring in them. You know, maybe the kids maybe couldn't read them, but their parents could later. So they're meaningful coloring pages. I thought that was really nice.
That's a nice idea. Anyone else? Jane, do you have anything?
No.
No.
We have the bags, but I'm not sure about the coloring part.
Do you ever look at do you ever talk to who's responsible for the coloring pages and give them suggestions on what to put in?
I don't.
Oh, you might think about that.
Yeah, it's an idea.
Well, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Boy, for me, after I go out and shopping and I wrap it, I just, no way, I don't want to give it to someone. So that whole idea is if we feel gratitude, we need to express it. And one is just to say thank you to God. Well, there's a lot of words that can affect my wellness because I think if I feel well, I'm more grateful. So I've put, I think 9 words on this slide that reflect words that affect me positively. So there are other words that some of you might choose besides the 9 that I put down there. Rachel, are you still on?
Yep, I'm still on. I'm thinking of caring for others.
Rachel, I don't know if you were in that support group when we started looking at gratitude or not.
I don't remember.
Yeah, because
I may have been.
What year were you in the hospital with Andrew?
Oh, probably 2000, 2001.
Okay, it was after. Anyone else have a word to add? How about you, Carol? You're on mute.
Got such a good list. I'm struggling to find another word, but
that's okay.
Yeah.
Boy, just think I picked the right 9 words. Wow. Well, it might be that a word comes up to you. I'm into words right now. And so sometimes a word is an example. I was at the Methodist Women's Retreat, I think I told you, and one of the things we had to put on our name tag was our name and a word that has influenced our life. And one of the young girls who was in her 20s put container. I thought, what does that have to do with anything? Well, she'd been dealing with a lot of hard things in her life, and with meeting with her counselor said, put each of those in a drawer in a container and close it up. Go out and do what you need to do. And when it's time to work with your anxiety, then open that drawer and just work on that, not the 9 drawers. And I thought, wow, that's really creative for a 20-year-old girl to choose the word container and talk about how that's positively influenced her life. Well, let's just change our topic a little bit and talk about journaling. I am not a big journaler, although I have a lot of clients that do. And gratitude journaling comes in a lot of forms. So I think maybe I will have one that may be of interest to you. like all the other practices of gratitude, it can lower our stress levels. It can help us feel calmer, especially at night. And I believe journaling can really give you a new perspective on what is important for you and what you truly appreciate in your life. Because if you write it down, that means it's kind of clicked in your mind. By noting what the positive is in your life helps you know what you can do without. You know, sometimes there's pictures on Facebook of, say, 9 cookies. And what are the 2 you wouldn't eat? Well, that's a hard no. But I think when you see things laid out like that, you go, well, these are the ones I like, and these are the ones I could do without. And I think that's with gratitude too. Sometimes when we start noting the positive, it makes the negative not so influential for us. At the same time, keeping a gratitude journal helps you learn more about yourself and become more self-aware. And what's nice about a gratitude journal is it's for your eyes only, and to look at where you're going to keep it so you don't have to look at or worry about judgment from others. Well, this is one that I really think is a kind of an unusual way to journal, but I think a fun one. So this handout has a journal, a strength of mine for which I'm grateful for. Something money can't buy, something that comforts me, something that's funny for which I'm grateful for, something in nature, a memory, something that changes that I'm grateful for, a challenge, something interesting, and something beautiful. So let's look at the gratitude prompt, a strength of mine, which I'm grateful for. And there's a couple of you who I think haven't spoke yet. Or did we get you all? Would somebody be willing to chime in? What's a strength of yours which you're grateful for? We'll do 2 people.
Very simplistic, but a strength that I feel I have and I've had for a long time is just the caring heart. I don't know how else to describe it, but
That's wonderful. Who was that was speaking?
Carol.
Oh, thanks, Carol. One more person. A strength of yours which you're grateful for.
I think I'm grateful for being a good listener.
That's an important skill, very important skill. So this is very easy to do with teenagers, with adults. It would be fun to see the difference between when men and women answer what their strengths are. It might be something you want to do with a partner or with your kids, but it's a fun way to journal in a very different way. So I found these for you guys. These are new for me. And I'm into creativity and design. So the design of this kind of caught my eye. So some of us write down our activities today, what are our priorities. In a few minutes, we'll talk about affirmations, but then you can write down things that you're grateful for, any reminders and motivation. This is another style of gratitude, where you write your notes, your affirmations, and then you write down what you're grateful for. And I like the quote on here, move forward, good things are up ahead. Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk a little bit about affirmations. I use these a lot. I feel a lot of people have a lot of negative self-talk. Oh, I don't think I can do it. It's going to be a bad day. It's never worked before. So these 2 are a little bit different, but I like the one on the left that says, I am blessed to have the body I have. I feel grateful to be loved. I feel blessed when I see the stars. I give thanks for every breath I take. I am grateful for my family. On the right, I am beyond blessed that I woke up today. Many did not have the privilege. I am grateful for all the people that I have in my life. I am so thankful that the universe is working for my greater good. And what you do is you say this in the morning when you start your day, and then you reflect on it when your day is over. Well, Mary Davis writes this: be present, let the day flow with grace, expect joy and be positive, serve with compassion, speak only kindness, impart only love, give thanks for everything, see goodness in others and yourself. That's what blessings are. Well, when I was, like I said, first studying gratitude, the speaker, Sarah Von Bresnak, was on Oprah. And one of the things that Oprah has reflected on when she was online on TV and she would do a series on gratitude, or even in her magazine, is she would say, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. And sometimes for the people that are in my grief support programs, saying thank you is about all they can do. They can't get into more detail. And so we might even say this as a prayer. If the only prayer you can only say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. That God will be rewarded by your taking the time to say thank you. Well, if you go online, you're going to find lots of beautiful things about gratitude. So Oprah says this: be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you'll never, ever have enough. Or let us be grateful to people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls bloom. We often take for granted the very thing that most deserves our gratitude. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. For each new morning with its light, for rest and shelter for the night, for health and food, for love and friends, for everything thy goodness sends. Sometimes we're kind of worn down. We've just given too much, whether at home or at work or at church. And I find this one by Albert Schweitzer to be an important one. At times our light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. And I'm sure each of you in your careers have had somebody who has lit that flame for you. And maybe this month of November would be a nice time to write them a note and let them know how they made a difference for you. In gratitude for self, let me know the wonder of my own self this day, O God, and give you thanks for the gift of my life. Well, my husband was diagnosed with Parkinson's probably around 2017. And in 2018, the American Holistic Nurses Association had their national conference in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And it was about the time of the Hot Air Balloon Festival. And so my husband was well enough then and didn't shake very much. So he wanted to go to as many national parks as he could. So we drove through everyone you can imagine. And we ended up down in Albuquerque. He had a cousin there. And I remember looking into the heavens and seeing there were 500 hot air balloons that were lifted off one morning. And I stood there and I just looked up and said, these are all blessings from God. And what was interesting is many of them were of multiple colors, multiple shapes, and all of them were going up to heaven. And I just said, thank you, God, for this beautiful day. Thank you for giving us the health to go to Albuquerque. And thank you for the beautiful memories. If you've never been to the Hot Air Balloon Festival, it is the first week in October. And they have a sunrise where 500 go up, and then they have a moon glow at night that just warms your heart. Well, if you're on the internet, all you have to write in is gratitude, and you'll find things like this. No matter what language you speak, a kind and smiling thank you always speaks to everyone's heart. Or this one I found on Pinterest. I have a Pinterest board on gratitude, so you can look me up and copy whatever you want. Gratitude can transform common days into Thanksgivings. turn routine jobs into joy, and change ordinary opportunities into blessings. These are 3 websites that you might want to write down: gratefulness.org, The Greater Good from Berkeley, and the last one is welovegratitude.com. They have different kinds of resources, so depending on, you know, what you're investigating it for, Berkeley would probably have quite a bit more research, and the gratefulness.org has just tons of resources that you can use. And the We Love Gratitude is where people can actually write a note. So the references I wanted to tell you about, Kathy gave you, sent you the list. And I would tell you, if you're interested in getting a book or giving a book on gratitude, go to Amazon and really review the reviews on it. See if it's getting a 4 or 5, and see if it's going to meet the needs of who you want to send it to. Sarah Von Brethneck, who was really the initiator in 1993 on Simple Abundance, a day book of comfort and joy, was kind of the one who, I would say, started the initiative on gratitude. There's books of thanks. There's a nice book on crafting thank you notes. There's a book on daily gratitude, 365 days of reflection. And then MJ Ryan has some excellent books: Attitudes of Gratitude, How to Give and Receive Joy Every Day of Your Life. And she has one on creating more joy. She has one on health, giving thanks, and she has a nice journal. So you can't go wrong with any of those. I found them all for different reasons to be good in my repertoire. I just want to say thank you for joining me today, and that hopefully you will find something to start your journey of gratitude. I found this Bible verse to be a really nice one for us as we close. I will praise him in every season. Psalm 146:2. And right now we have the privilege of praising him in the season of gratitude or of fall. And then if you go online, you can find these wordles that are all the words that represent gratitude. So this is the journal I was going to tell you about. It's called Gratitude, a Prayer and Praise Coloring Journal. So it's a little journaling. It's a little coloring. It's hardbound, kind of that hard cardboard. So it's very lastable and fits in your briefcase and in your car. If you're going to hockey games or football games or whatever, it's a good one. So I guess I would ask you, what is one thing that was kind of something special for you as you reflected on gratitude today? Kind of a lesson learned or final thought or a little word of wisdom?
Well, you didn't really say this that I noticed exactly, Barb, but when I think of gratitude, I think, this is Nancy, grace, gratitude, and gratis, that's all the same root word. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we can all relate to grace. You know, it's unearned. Gratis, it's free. Gratitude, you know, it's just, it's a much bigger concept than just saying thank you.
Yep. Thanks for sharing, Nancy. Anyone else?
I think just reviewing the things that we cannot feel or be when we're grateful. You know, we can't be grateful and resentful. We can't be, you know, grateful, optimistic, and depressed or down at the same time. And that's a good reminder, because it really, to me, helps just share more ways that gratitude can really uplift us and make us healthier.
Someone else? What's one takeaway for you today? How about you, Carol? What's one takeaway?
Make a huge difference in someone's day just by giving them a smile.
Mhm.
It's an easy thing to do. Yeah. So what's going to happen now is you're going to smile more and it changes the complexion of your face.
Yeah.
How about you, Jane? What's one takeaway for you?
I guess I just never realized all the effects it has on your life. Being more gratitude, being more positive, health-wise, and I guess it kind of drew that all together for me.
Yeah. Anyone else? How about you, Ruth?
Let's see, I was trying to think which I should say. I guess the question that we didn't answer that we should answer is, what do you love about yourself?
Yeah.
And I do think about that, but then I always counteract it with what I should be doing better about something. So what I need to do is say what I love about myself, but don't put a but in, and just leave it at that.
You know, one of the things they talked about at my retreat is, what are some of the gifts that God has given you to use in your practice in your parish? What is it that you do that is you and has made a difference in your church? Which is another way to think of it. Well, I'd like to say thank you for joining me today and investigating a little more how you can bring practice into your life, into your own family and to your church family. And like I said, if you want any handouts, just let me know. I'm happy to share anything. So God has just given me this passion for gratitude since 1993, and he keeps telling me to revise and find new things. So I keep doing that. So if I ever showed you my first talks on gratitude that I did at Mayo, is so profoundly different, although the same focus is gratitude makes a difference in the lives of our patients, our families, our family, our church, and our community, and with our neighbors. So amen.
Oh, Barb, thank you. Nancy Dolan had to sign off. I don't know if you saw her chat note. She just said thank you for the great presentation and for taking the time to put this together and share, Barb. As always, there's so much to be learned from what you share, and thanks for your passion on gratitude.
Would you like us to work up this for a CEU for you? Ruth, you would?
About that.
Please and thank
Jane,
you.
do need contact
Yes,
numbers?
that would be nice. Thank you.
Okay.
And could we have the notes or all, whatever handouts you can send? I'd love them all.
Okay, I'll send you some.
And the one thing I always think to tell people is that, whenever you're applying for CUs, you always have the option of just putting in the information, because you've got the descriptor of Barb's presentation and all her objectives, and then her credentials. Those are the three things they ask for. So we'll put it together, but just so you know, you can always put that down. If they question you, then you can go back to the speaker and ask for more. But as long as you have her title and her description and her objectives, that's really what are asked for.
Yeah, I worked in the education department, so you've got my credentials, you've got my bio, you've got my objectives, and I think pretty much you've got everything you need, but we'll put it together in a package for you.
Yep.
Great.
I would like that too.
Well, thanks, Barb. I'm just trying to figure out how to stop the recording so we can go on to some discussion to see how people are doing. Just give me a second here.
Maybe while Kathy's doing that, one thing, this is Nancy again, just two things that I noted. culturally, gratitude is a little bit different. So I think we just need to be cognizant of that. Thank you notes for Latinos are weird and awkward, and they don't know why we do that. But saying thank you and smiling works very well. So I just want us to be at least cognizant of that. I've found that in my practice. And
Thanks,
also,
Nancy. That's
thank
good to
you.
know.
You're welcome. But then also, and I'm sure it's different in, you know, other cultures too. That's just my practice. I work with a lot of grieving people, and I think we all do too. And I think gratitude plays an incredibly important part in the grieving process, but using the word happiness doesn't work very well. So
Mhm.
I use well-being instead of happiness.
Good.
Because that's really what we're looking for is, you know, our sense of being whole and well and healed. And so that might not look like the word happiness, which sometimes people think of as a smiley face, you know, the yellow smiley face. And I don't have a problem with the yellow smiley face, but
Yeah.
sometimes that's difficult.
What I would be sharing with my grief support group would be very different than what I share with you. So I